welcome to the Italian Garden. My name is John and I will be your host. Today I decided to do our follow-up video for the LED grow light, the Sunlight LED. And I'm just going to take you around. I'm going to show you some of the things. I'm going to try to keep this camera as still as possible here. And I'm just going to go through what I found really fast without picking up the camera. I'll show you the plants at the end, and then we'll just go from there. Basically, I found that the light is more than adequate at overwintering things like citrus, overwintering or just plain up growing vanilla orchids and other type of orchids underneath the light all year round if you wanted to. If you didn't feel like building a greenhouse for them. Vanilla orchids benefit from high humidity, and they like high humidity. So when you put a plant that likes high humidity in a tent like this and you grow it all the time, or in a greenhouse, they benefit more than putting them in the house. So or someplace you can control the humidity and bring it up the entire room to a high level. This area here, right now, since the door's open, it's at 56%, which is about what it would be out in my house if I had the plants in there. But like usually I keep this area. I come in here and I spritz with a spray bottle or a squirt bottle, and I spritz all the plant's leaves. The citrus really like that because they love like having dew on their leaves, and they soak it up readily into their leaves. So I put a little fertilizer in there too, and they really have responded well to it. The same with the vanilla orchid. That I spray the moss that it's on, and it's actually readily rooted into the moss. And I knew people said that it would do that, but I didn't see it happening. And then one day I came out and I was like, oh, what's that? And it was just a root sticking in, and it's actually quite big now, and it's like gone all the way through the moss and everything. So it's actually pretty interesting. But I've been spraying that down, and that brings the humidity up too, because it releases the moisture from the moss evenly as the plant soaks up a little bit of that moisture, and then it causes this place to be about 80% all the time. So basically that's what that is. The LED light is more than adequate to do any of those things. It keeps the room about 82 degrees or so during the day, and also during the night. When it turns off around 9 o'clock is when I have it on. I turn it on at 9 a.m. and then it's off at 9 p.m. So it's a 12-hour cycle, and in the morning it slowly rises the temperature up to 82 in the peak, and then towards the evening it slowly kind of starts dipping off because the temperature in here gets a little cooler. But I do have this, there's a kerosene heater right here in front of me that I light in the evening, especially now since I believe Tuesday is going to be our first frost. It's actually our first frost of the year, and it's been getting down in the 39 area now for the last 2 nights. So I've been lighting this late at night, around 11 or so o'clock at night, and letting it run for about an hour, 2 hours, and then it heats this area up so much that it's around 82, 83, 84 degrees. And then I just turn it off, and it lowers the temperature all the way through the night to where it gets to around 64, 65, and that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect for these type of plants, because they want a temperature drop of 10 plus degrees at night. So that's really been working. What I found is that plants that are on the floor, and if you have plants that have high canopies like the orange and the lemon, those plants probably need to be risen. I don't know. They need to be rose up off the ground, and they are going to need to get close to that light, because they do grow down there. I found, because I have some plants, some peppers and stuff growing down there, and it's also some cuttings, but they seem like they're a little bit lacking in growth, or they need a little bit more light. That's what I'm trying to say. So those need to be brought up a little bit closer, and also the corners of the tent get light. They get enough light to sustain a plant, but I wouldn't say enough light to really have fabulous growth. So the four corners of each tent, I would say, with this particular light, you probably want to get some sort of LED spotlight. It's like a 20-watt LED spotlight for each corner. So 4 of those, and just with a little, regular old socket for light bulb, for like a fluorescent light. I mean, you could use fluorescent if you wanted to, but the LED would be less wattage draw, and it would be more efficient. So that's what I would do. You just have a LED hanging here on this corner, and then that corner's lit up, and then that corner's lit up, and you just do it all for all 4, and it would work probably a lot better. The spread of the light, this is a 5x5 tent. It says this light could cover a 6x6, but that's the one thing I've found for this light, is that it is not a 6x6 spread like they claim. That's the one thing I did find that they claim wasn't true. They say on their website it's a 6x6 spread, but for ample growth, I would say it's more like a 4x4 for ample growth, which is still pretty good. That's still a good stretch. There aren't many lights out there on the market that you're going to find that can do a 4x4 and light all the way down to almost to the ground from, being all the way at the top of the tent. So, I mean, the kind LED, I would say, is probably the one that is a little bit closer to this, but it has that throw that's just straight down, and it doesn't have any reflector, and it's not the same type of light. It's that purplish light, which I have no problem with, but it's just a different type of light. It's a different type of fixture. It's a different altogether. So I think the kind LED is like $600. So for 2 of those, you could put in this area, and you could space them, and it would probably work pretty well. I might be wrong about the price on them. They might be $800, which is more than this light is, and this light pretty much lights this area. Just buy a couple $20 worth of little LED lamps to go in the corners, and then you'd be good. So that's like, if you had to make the choice and buy this light and not the kind, if it's more expensive or less, I don't know. You guys are gonna have to make that decision. But I just say the performance is pretty good. I'll bring you in a little closer here in a minute. I think I'm pretty much wrapping up and show you some of the growth on the plants. But the plants that have gotten the ample right amount of light and are up close enough to the light have gone completely bonkers. So I am really impressed with that. I've gotten flowering. I've gotten fruit production, fruit on the lemon, more fruit on the lemon. I've gotten tons of growth. It's just those certain plants are going completely crazy. The orchid has grown probably, I would say this much on one of its stems from when I last showed you, and then it has a bunch of other little segments that are sprouting out new stems. So I might be able to take some cuttings here soon and root them and maybe give them away to people, because I'm not going to need 2 vanilla orchids. They're so freaking big, and they create so many beans just out of one plant to begin with. I don't need 2. So, but until that happens, I think I'll just keep letting it grow, keep producing more vines, and then I'll take a few cuttings and see who wants them. But let me take you in here close, and we'll see what's going on and how it's performing. So the first thing I want to show you here, down here in the ground, these are 2 Mimosa pudica that I started from seed. They are down here in the ground, but you see towards the more center of the light, even down here on the ground, the plants are flourishing. These plants love the high humidity in here, the 80%. They've gone completely, just absolutely bonkers from growing. They're just really crazy. I know some people with most pudica have problems with the leaves yellowing a bunch and then falling off. These seem to have pretty decent colored leaves. They have a little bit of spotting, which I think is a deficiency. I needed to give them some fertilizer, but they are great. Dragon fruit cuttings haven't rooted yet, I don't think. It's only been a couple weeks, so they aren't producing or putting out shoots yet. These are the peppers I said, or I showed you guys, and they are sitting on the ground, and they have they're producing flowers and stuff, and I come out here and pollinate them every once in a while. They're producing crazy amount of flowers, but I just need to raise them up with maybe some tubs or something, because they aren't getting enough light in this corner here and on the side. The sides are probably the worst when it comes to the fade out of the light. When you look and see, it gets a couple shades darker from here to here. So that I'm gonna have to address and get them further up, because you can, if you get them further up here, it's better light, but when you go down, it gets worse, especially with this gigantic thing shading it out. Lemons, you can see they're coming into shape. As soon as I cut that, in the last episode, I cut that branch off down here. I can't really show you, but that branch, if you watched the last episode, they've started to get a lot bigger, so that's good. Orange tree. The navel orange has decided to shoot out let's get that in frame, a stent of growth. It's about close to a foot in length, and all over the place it has these spouts of growth up. I'm going to probably trim them at some point, but a lot of them are pretty vertical growth, which is good. I don't want too vertical, but vertical growth is good because then you can chop it at a certain point and let it bush out. So that's great. This thing's liking it where it's sitting in. I have one of the My Lazy Gardener setups on it, and it seems to love that thing so much. I'm probably going to end up getting one for this guy, because the citrus really seemed to go for the Lazy Gardener setups, especially since you can put them in soil that holds moisture really well, and you can water from the top even with that thing on, and they won't care because it dries out so fast. This guy I topped off. As you can see, it was this huge bush before. Now I took all the plant, or all the peppers off of it, and got whatever I could from seed. I actually got a lot of seed from it. I probably end up giving some away here in the future. When I get some more seeds, I could probably, maybe I could do a seed giveaway next year. I don't know, depending on how much seed I can save between then. But here it's started to come back with a vengeance. It's looking healthy. It's looking good. I love this plant. This plant has produced so well for me this year. I've actually kind of grown attached to it a little bit. I know it's just a pepper, but a big gym pepper, but it was a very well-rounded plant, very good genetics. So I wanted to keep it for another year, just to kind of keep its legacy going on, and kind of keep it growing. So maybe you can give me another round of peppers, and then I'll probably end up letting go of it. But here's the other dragon fruit cutting. If you can see that, blocking the light. Dragon fruit cutting hasn't rooted yet, no growth on it yet, but I assume soon it'll be growing. And here is the vanilla orchid. Now you can see a root there that's coming out, but in here, right on this joint, you can't really see it, but it has a root system in here, and this moss is dry right now. I need to water it, and then also, get out of the way. Right there you can see, that's a root that's going in, and it's rooted into this moss. And there's a bunch of others down here, and all along the stem that touched anywhere on the moss, it's rooted into. Down here it's rooted into the moss. Can't really see it very well. Right there, kind of see it. There you go. Yeah, that's a better shot. And all along here, this new little spike here, you can see the little root back behind here. Right there, my fingertip is, and that's rooted in through and down. I can see it go down, and then it kind of goes into the moss more. So this thing's rooted really well into this, and the reason why is because down here there was a problem, and the problem was the premix I got, because the other mix I had was just too darn dry. It wouldn't hold any moisture. So I potted it down. I put it in a smaller pot because the roots were rotting away. I put it in another pot with this premix I bought that had a little bit more moisture, like retention, but it could dry out pretty fast. I'm sorry, before the roots weren't rotting away. The pot didn't. The roots were drying out. Then I put it in this other pot, and the roots started to rot away. And then after that, I cut the rotting roots off and got rid of them, threw them away. And then I potted it down, and I put them. I mixed more perlite into the mix, and did it like that. And it seems like the roots. I buried some of the stem, so some of this plant I put down into the pot so it could grow more roots, and it seems to be bouncing back pretty well. This stent, as you remember, this was that little stent that was like coming out at the very bottom in my past video, probably 4 videos past, that I showed you it was growing out. This is that leg of growth. It's grown, you know, what is that, 6 inches, 7 inches, something like that. 7 inches of growth in just a couple weeks. As soon as it came in here, actually, it started growing like that. It didn't do anything before then. It just kind of sat there. But the humidity has really brought it out. There's also a new vine growing here. And where else is there? New vine growing here out of the main growing tip, near the main growing tip. And that's pretty much all there's growing out of here. I mean, basically just the roots. And I've kept this on a heating mat too, at 85 degrees underneath that, so that it gets bottom heat, because the roots really need drying out, and they really needed some heat to rejuvenate them. So I've kept this on. It's at 78.4 right now. But that's pretty much it, guys. This light has done extremely well. Extremely well. I keep a fan on it to cool off these heat sinks and stuff, so that it gets a better lifespan of the light. It also warms the area. But yeah, it's a good light, guys. I would say, it's worth 100% the price, just out of the light it throws off in this area alone. But I would say that if you could find something, like if you wanted to go with the two kind LED lights, or something else that's around the same price, I would say it's totally up to you. There's like nothing I could totally tell you to persuade you to buy one of these for the price, but it's just the results I've gotten from it have been really, really good compared to anything I've done. Actually, really fast here, I'm gonna pull out a testing object. It's just a app from my phone here, and this measures in lux, white goods, and you just turn it on, and then it's gonna probably get really bright. I'm gonna put away from it, and then just level it out. So around 2 feet from the light, it's hitting 22.1 K-lux, which is different from the regular lux reading. K-lux is way more. It's doubled the amount. So when I go down here, a little bit further down, and then I stop it, this is about 3 or 4 feet from the light, opposed to 2. And it's hitting 13.5. That's about right where the foliage is on the lemon tree. The orange tree is getting a little bit more light because it's higher up. But so you take that, and if I went into a window and I put this in my south-facing window that really doesn't get too much light during the summer because I live on the backside of a hill, that that window only hits like 500 lux at any given point during this time of year, which is an extremely low amount of light compared to this. This is hitting 22 up, like 2 feet from the light, and 3 feet from the light near the canopy it's hitting 13.5. So, and then if I'm going to do one more reading here, if I go down all the way down to the ground and then level it off, I'll put it on something. All the way down to the ground. Maybe it's getting a wrong reading. I think it may be the reflection from this type of stuff. All the way down to the ground, it says it's getting 55k lux, or 55 lux, I'm sorry. So if you come up right here, it's getting 68 lux, 55 lux. So that's a really low amount all the way down at the ground behind this tree. But if you're sitting here, right down below above the foliage of the sensitivity plants, 9 to 6k lux. So pretty much all these plants here are about that level, and they're getting 9 to 6k lux, which is still really good for that amount. So there's a little test for you on the amount of light it provides. Down the ground, it's not getting really any at all, besides just ambient light. And at plant level of foliage, it's getting a good amount. So you want to raise that up. It definitely needs to be within that 2 to 3 foot range from the light to get really max production. Otherwise, it's just going to be poor results, pretty much, is what I would say. So depending on other lights, other LED lights are going to be the same thing. You're going to need to get a certain distance away and before you can get really good results. So I'm pretty much saying that LED lights have come a long way. This is a great light for what it does, and I don't regret buying it at all. I'm not getting any money from these people saying this. I'm not getting anything like that. I'm just giving you guys the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from what I see. So I would say if you guys wanted to buy it, go ahead and buy it. But if you can get by with a cheaper option or something that puts out more light and less heat for the price, I would go ahead and go with that, because it's obviously a better option compared to this guy, which is very expensive. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I have to say. I would pretty much go with something a little bit cheaper. That doesn't raise your electric bill an insane amount like HPS or anything like that does, because that stuff really gets kind of costly after a while. But thanks for tuning in. I know you guys were wanting to see this video. A lot of people watched my other video and subscribed to see the update. So thank you for tuning in and hanging in here. I know I've been babbling a lot this entire video. I'm glad if you sat through it the entire way that you sat through it and listened to what I had to say. Thank you guys for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.